Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Rebbe's Advice. It is good to be back. It's been a couple weeks, and we're back after Pesach, and we are now in a new Jewish month, the month of Iyar, or I should say, this week starts a new Jewish month. Tonight, tomorrow, and the day after is Rosh Chodesh. So it's a new month that brings with it new spiritual energies, and the Rebbe's advice is focused on the specific spiritual energy that is present in this month, this coming month of ER. Now, just an introduction before the to set up the videos that we're going to see. First of all, um, the first section today is titled "A Cure from Heaven." Now, it's bringing a messages from the Rebbe, stories from people who experienced the Rebbe's guidance and help when they were going through illness. Now, one might be tempted to see these videos and to focus on the Rebbe's uh, miraculous power and the wonder that the Rebbe's advice came true. But what I would encourage us instead to focus on is on the perspective that the Rebbe is inviting us into. That when somebody is experiencing illness, that they shouldn't be frightened by it. They shouldn't allow it to get them down. And instead they should trust in Hashem. And that a small amount of medicine can do big things because there is infinite power, divine power that's helping us. And so while Hashem's power is infinite, it could be expressed even in small actions. So we don't have to go to huge, big, heavy activities for health. Instead, we have to do teshuvah, return to Hashem, add in mitzvahs, and of course, follow the advice of the doctor. But remember that Hashem's infinite blessings can come through very small activities, and to focus on Hashem's blessing and not on the specific way that the blessing comes. So that's the introduction that I wanted to give. So that being said, I also want to introduce the very first clip. It's a short clip that you'll see. That is the Rebbe in his private study, having a meeting with the two chief rabbis of Israel who came to meet the Rebbe in, I think, 1989. That was both the Sephardic and the Ashkenazi chief rabbi of Israel came at that time to the United States, and they had an audience, a meeting with the Rebbe, and that was during the month of Iyar, and the Rebbe speaks about, among other things, speaks about health. So that's the very first clip, and then after that you'll have interview clips with people telling their personal stories. But I didn't want you to miss that special moment with the Rebbe meeting with the chief rabbis of Israel.
The Chedish here, because the Kiswa little she was a Davis and near a while in Pecha. Or the poor Sakodish Balchu, the poor Kaden, the Makul Kaden, and near a while in Pecha, the Chim, the Khatchilu, the Yosim of Pecha.
I used to suffer very badly from migraine headaches. My mother used to take me from one doctor, specialist all over, and different tablets and different things were prescribed, but nothing helped. And I decided to share this with the Rebbe and ask the Rebbe if he could give me a bracha for it. The Rebbe told me that when I get the signs that I'm getting a migraine, and the signs for a migraine were like a flash camera had gone in my eyes before it happened, I should take Anacin tablets immediately. So I told the Rebbe, ich weiß nicht was es ist. I don't know what it is. So the Rebbe took a pencil and a white little square piece of paper that he had on his desk, and he wrote down Anacin and he gave it to me. I went to the drugstore around the corner and I told them that I wanted to buy some of these tablets. They said, that's not good enough for migraine headaches. You don't take it for migraines. So I said, but I think that's what the Rebbe told me I should be taking for migraines. So they said, no, impossible. So I said, well, I have it on a piece of paper. And I took out that piece of paper and it said Anacin. And they couldn't believe it. And they gave me every type of Anacin, the maximum strength and the minimum strength and the medium strength. And I took all of the boxes with me, all of the tablets with it. I took it back to Australia with me. And Baruch Hashem, I must say, the brachas were very successful. And for many years after that Yechidus, I did not walk out of the house without one of these on me in case it happened. But thank God for many, many years I haven't needed it.
Bringt darauf in Meimer, als wie vor, tut man durch a Kamus Ktana, und das wird durch a Chilu Stier, darf nun kommen zu a Kamus Gdele, darf aber das a Jinyan, Neile Jese, und das fragt nach, das kommt von Nummer Hawaii und Fossi, was das tut sich durch den Jinyan hat Schuwa, und in Ruf tut sich das Ruf bechelde Jahrzehnt, bescheite Chode, briege Chode, bechelde Jahrzehnt.
נתקפתי בעייפות, חלישות הגוף, מנע ממני להתפלל וללמוד. אני גם קורא את המחלה הזאת בשם מחלת הנשיקה. ביקשתי מחברי שיבקש רפואה שלמה בשבילי, עבורי. וכשיצא מהרבי, הוא אמר לי שהרבי אמר, תאמר לו שיבדוק את הציצית. בדקנו מיד את הטלית קטן שלי, שהייתה חדשה. לתדהמתי התגלה הדבר שהמרחק של החורים מהכנף היה פחות מהשיעור המקובל. כמובן שמיד החלפתי את הציצית, ומרבה הפלא בחסדי השם יתברך, בזכותו של הרבי, נעלמה החולשה, נעלמה המחלה, כי לא היו, ואדרבה. יצאתי עם מורל מאוד גבוה, תחושה נפלאה וגדולה, מלא חיות ומרץ, וככה המשכתי ללמוד ולהתמיד בלימודיי.
Schaf drauf a Gdele Tshuva שמביא רפואה לאילו. Und a zweite Mal sagt auf drauf a Gdele Teire שמביא רפואה לאילו. Sich Teire a Yini was Verbalabos al Kol HaMitzias Kula. Eichet lab Chochmas Refuah, und auf Yechidas Refuah, auf Mitzias Refuah, das verstandig a Tshuva und Teire. Konin ufta, b'shas teile b'shleimusa, lachas kama v'kama tshuva, azol milachatchile nizayin kein reishim barmani avay lifecha.
Tovshin Mem Gimel. Few days before Shavuos, we got a not very nice psula from doctors that in the family we have to make a test and so on, that something is wrong. Get scared. Me and my wife, we took the plane the night before Shavuos and went to New York. Arrived to New York in the morning. I wrote to the Rebbe what's going on and what the doctor thinks it should be done. A few hours before Yontiv, before Shavuos, I'm getting a call from Maskiros to come. There is already an answer. Okay. I see the original letter. All what I wrote about what the doctor said, there was a hole. The Rebbe took a scissors and cut it. I wrote, of course, that I have many marshovas. It bothers me in my head, all these things, what the doctor wants to do. It starts to work on me. Where I wrote the word machshavos, the Rebbe wrote next to it Zores and underlined. These are strange machshavos. Keposhut tizrekem hachutza al yedei tracht gut v'zayin gut. Utvasru toiv, and you should give me good news. I went back to Brazil, very happy of course. All these things that we said about the sickness disappeared completely, all these tests and all these things, nobody talk more, and we don't, it doesn't exist more. Like the Rebbe cut it here, he cut it there.
In the first של הקדוש ברוך הוא, ואני הווי לפך, ודמרת דרפוי נענפן, אז מלכתחילה, לי עושים עליך, nicht als da ajinen da noch darf nem heilen behelt men azame leif mas kun gon is a dover bilki rotze alachs kann be kam a schein neise sibische gewend der dover bilki rotze is mir das ne wartel atke di kar als i eker ajinen a bis mir hat khile is gon nit kin be hat khile gon gewend der ganze inen.
Had a pain in my heart. They took all the tests, and it showed a 80% blockage of an artery leading to the heart. And the doctor said, before he took the picture, he said, if you need to go into surgery, you want permission to take it right in. I said, no way. And he said what they do, scared the life out of me. I had my wife called Rabbi Klein. Rabbi Klein went into the Rebbe, told him the situation. The next morning, I got up out of bed. It was Hashanah Rabbah. Rabbi Lipsker and I Shalom Ber Lipsker grabbed a plane, ran to New York. After Kosher Bracha at the end of Yontif, the Rebbe smiles and he says, no operation, yeah? What was that? No operation. Hashem, it's now 40 some odd years later. That heart condition has changed, and there was never any operation needed.
This production is made possible through the generosity of the members of the GEM Foundation.
So that was the first section. And something else that I noticed there was the Rebbe talking about the need for spiritual healing along with physical healing. And I also want to dedicate today's class to Refuah Shalema for Beryl Ben Esther. We should have good news from him and for his family. And they should have courage and strength, and they should see Hashem, as the Rebbe said, remove all illness such that it will be as though it never was, and he should be healthy and well. And compared with this, also we noticed that the Rebbe talked about 3 types of healing. One type of healing is food, which is essentially lifestyle health, which takes many, many years and a lot of, it's slow, and large quantities make a difference. And then there's medicine health, which is very small quantities, and the effect is much quicker. And then the Rebbe talked about Torah and Teshuvah, where in an instant, it's one thought, one instant, where a person decides that they're going to change, that they're going to connect to their truth in a more deep way, and connect to Hashem in a more deep way, that immediately brings spiritual healing, and with it, physical healing as well. So that's part 1. Part 2, I want to set up the next clip, is a video of the Rebbe speaking to children. And the Rebbe it's a children's rally, a children's gathering, where the Rebbe is talking to the children about the month of Iyar. Apparently, I'll see the date in a moment, but the Rebbe is talking about the meaning of the month of Iyar and the significance of the mitzvah that we do during this month, of Sefiras Omer, the daily count of the Omer. So this is from 1982, April 29th, 1982. And two things that strike me about it. First of all, you'll notice, if you look carefully in the video, you'll notice that there are people wearing like army officer hats. And that's because the Rebbe wanted to create a children's organization and to raise children with a kind of similar to a Peace Corps, a God's army, that the children should see themselves as members of God's army, soldiers for good, and that they would have the same commitment and discipline and enthusiasm required of soldiers. And you also can see that kind of stance in the Rebbe, that he speaks to the children kind of in a commanding way. So that's part of that culture, and I think it's something that we can encourage our children to understand that, and that they have a very special role. And the idea of a soldier is that it doesn't matter how big the soldier is or how smart the soldier is, it matters how well they do what they're supposed to do. That's number one. And number two, the thing that struck me about it is how seriously the Rebbe takes children. That he speaks to them and explains, he's talking to young children, but yet all of us can take a lesson and can take to heart what the Rebbe says. That is, the Rebbe didn't patronize, and we can learn that lesson as well. That children are people, and they have and should have spiritual lives, and they should be encouraged to appreciate their value to Hashem as his young soldiers. So here goes. And of course, at the end, afterwards, I'm happy to make space for anyone's questions or comments or reflections that you may have.
Der Heide stellt sich heiß von allen Gedoschen von der ganzen Jahr mit der Mitzwe von Sphira, das ist dieselbe Mitzwe, aber sie kommt zu von das Nei, jeder Tag, wo das ist da mehr nicht wie in Heidisch ihr. Sie sind da verschiedene Mitzwes, wo sie sind verbunden mit bestimmten Tagen, oder mit Wochen, so aber die einzige Mitzwe, wo sie verbunden mit jeder Tag von der ganzen Chedisch, ist das die Mitzwe von in Chedisch Iyar, die Mitzwe von Sphira Soemer, wo das unterstreicht noch mehr, aber wie bald haben wir sich zusammengeklebt in die Sphira-Tag, aber in die Tag in dem Chedisch unterstreicht das noch mehr, was jemand darf sich ablernen von der Mitzwe, wo sie sicher wird mekuyen durch jeden von euch in dem Chedisch allein und danach echt abnehmen die Ablernung auf alle Tage und alle Chadoshim von ein ganzes Jahr. In was steht die Ablernung? Als in Zugang zu allen Mitzvot, was in Mekayim, darf sich nicht stabil sein, darf suchen und Mekayim sein und Messiv sein. Meilen bei Kedesh, öfter können gefinnen noch eine Mitzvah, was kann noch Messiv sein, auf die gewöhnliche Mitzvot, was darf Mekayim sein. Oder auf die Mitzvot, was alle Rumen seine Mekayim, und damit hat man der Haftoche dem Zusag, wie die Tester gesagt, ja geht Masosa, wie zum Beispiel, und etwas, das ist gar leicht, mit darf gar nicht haben, kein Größe wie ja geht in der Mitzwe von Lernen Teiler. Wie viel Teiler lernt, lädt es darin von sein, Kita in dem Beis Sefer, oder wie viel Mitzvahs Brachis oder andere Mitzvahs, was in Mekayim, leht wie dem Ozog, hat allemal eine Möglichkeit, ein Abnehmen von der Zeit, was steht zu ihm, in seinem Schuss, was kommt unter mit wie will, auf Lernen noch ein Posik in Teiro oder noch ein Mischne, wie die von der Judbeis Psukim und Maimore Lazal oder eine andere Sache in Teiro und als sie echt der Mitzvahs mäßig sein, noch ein Penny ins Doko oder noch ein Meise Tevi in Avas Israel und oder ähnliche Mitzvahs und hat damals doch verstandig, aber ich habe sieht, als hat gefunden und hat es getan und hat Maslier gewählt, auf der vielen der Mäbischen Strotzen, in Lernen noch mehr Teile und kein sein noch mehr Mitzvahs, ist auf morgen, wird es am Ankommen leichter, zu beikommen die Milchome von dem Jeze, was will ihm einreden, als hat schon genug gelernt für heutigen Tag, oder getan genug Mitzvahs für heutigen Tag, kommt der Chedisch hier und lernt als jeder Tag zieht das Schabbos, zieht das eine Woche dicker Tag. Ich hatte die Möglichkeit und dem Ozer und der Zusor, als wird sicher Masliach sein, eben nur wird wählen. Wird sein in einer guten Neffen, als lochedigen Neffen, und es eine sichere Sache, aber der Rebester gibt der Fahrt von seinen Brachs noch mehr. Bedugma, wie man sagt sich in dem Chedisch hier, als Jid geht zu in der Brache von Sfiras Eimer jeder Tag, in Zugang von allen übrigen Braches, als jechet Mieder keneged Mieder, bekommt von dem Ebersten nach Zugang Brache, für sich, und nechet für seine Eltern, was haben Erzeugen und Mechaner gewähnt, in seinem Weg, als soll werden zugeben in Teiro Mitzvahs. Geht zu echt in die Broches, zu seinen Lehrer und Lehrernis, Madrichim und Madrichis, wo sie seinen Mechanik in dem Weg.
So, thanks for joining. This last section, the Rebbe was again as speaking to children and talking about the meaning of Sfiras HaOmer, of the daily count of the Omer, which of course we're all doing. Today is the 14th day of the Omer, 14th day, which is 2 weeks of the Omer. And the importance of filling every day with mitzvahs and always looking for another opportunity, yet another and another, to keep growing and keep adding in mitzvahs, and that each day, each additional count brings an additional bracha, because every day when we count the Omer, we say a bracha. So that is that every addition that we do brings brachas not only to ourselves, but to all those associated with us. So that's all I have. Thanks for joining. If you would like to, if you have a question or a comment or reflection, please don't hesitate to jump in.